All right, thanks, guys. We are once again coming off a perfect 3-0 day yesterday in our premium sports picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, that's a website that I operate that gives you premium daily sports picks beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We're also a perfect 4-0 straight up in our last four Underdog tier package plays as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But before we go ahead and move on, let's take a look at some Chinese Taipei women's SBL basketball. And we're going to go ahead and start with Taiwan women versus Tai Power women in a 5 a.m. Eastern tip-off. Now, Taiwan's minus 7.5 with the total at 132 shaded to the over. And if you like Tai Power in an upset, they're currently plus 220 for some money line cash. And speaking of power, they finished last season losing their final 8 straight and failed to score over 67 points during that span. Matter of fact, Tai Power averaged just 57 total points per contest during those outings. Taiwan women, on the other side, they are 3-0 straight up in their last 3 meetings with power, including a 21-point victory during that span as well. Now, total-wise, just 1 out of Taiwan's prior 5 outings got over the total of 132. Meanwhile, on the other side, just 1 out of Power's last 5 got over that number themselves. So it looks like a pretty good spot for under bettors here. Give me Taiwan women minus 7.5 and the under 132 in that contest. And before we go ahead and dive into our next and final matchup for the show, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and purslines out for Tuesday's SBL Chinese Taipei women's basketball action. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you're having a good start to your week. Now, before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we're coming off a perfect 3-0 day in all of our premium picks on that website yesterday. We're also 4-0 in our last 4 Underdog tier package plays on that site as well. Very good package for us right now. We do daily premium sports picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. We'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. And currently we have well over 550 members signed up and active on that page. Now, you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks, where they can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game that's on the board, side and total. And the problem is this: if you were to bet every single game that's on the board that I put out here on YouTube, you are, well, virtually, you're almost guaranteeing yourself failure. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds very bizarre, but just hear me out. If you're going to go ahead and bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have a lot more money than you and I do combined to be able to absorb that kind of action. And most important, guys, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down, focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. Of course, these picks are high percentage plays. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is right here on YouTube, handicapping every single game that's on the board, side and total. And the good news is this: if you want to check out my current Patreon record, you actually have access to that right now. You can go ahead and do that for free right at this moment. It's located right on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. I'll also include a link in the comments section below as well. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Cathay Life taking on Chunhua Telecom in a 8 a.m. Eastern tip-off. Life is minus 15.5. Total's 147 and a hook. And if you like Telecom in an upset, they're plus $7 on the money line. And speaking of Telecom, their final game in SBL last season ended in a rough double-digit loss, 85-66. where they were held to just 29 points in the second half. Telecom also dropped 2 out of their final 4 last season, both of those losses coming against Cathay Life. And speaking of Life, they finished last season with 9 straight victories, with 7 of those coming by double-digit margins. Life also went 4-0 straight up in their last 4 head-to-head meetings with Telecom. Now, total-wise, 4 out of Life's last 7 outings got over the total of 147.5. Meanwhile, on the other side, Telecom saw 3 out of their last 4 head-to-head meetings with Cathay Life get over that number as well. Might not be too bad of a spot here for overbetters. But with all that said and done, give me Cathay Life minus 15.5 and the over 147 and a hook in that contest. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by Patreon. And want to give a shout-out to Justin Van Kuren, Jay Williams, John Klotz, Brian T., Terrell Parrott, Brandon Saunders, Robert Somerville, Willie Slade. Now, from the Instagram platform, got to give a shout-out to Michael David Haynes, Evo Play Entertainment, Jeremy Romo, Tawfiq Gunawan, Wes Civils. Shout out to Terry Fatigue, Texas Terry. Shout out to Lisa King and Nurs Iskali. And finally from YouTube, James Medina, Romoy Reed, Carmen Alcala, Kirk Frazier, Goodnight Munchie, Griff HD, USA Animation, and last but certainly not least, from YouTube, got to give a shout out to my man, Beats to My Own Drums. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Yeah, Beats to My Own Drums. I love that name. It's great. I think it's a good name. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.